Hello everyone, welcome to the last lecture, fourth lecture of EPS. Now today we are going to take up with combined questions, means combined questions where we have combined effects of convertible preference shares as well as convertible debentures. Now in the last lecture we have already studied how to deal with in diluted EPS when we have convertible preference shares and convertible debentures. See, when we have convertible debentures, interest on debentures we add and tax on interest we minus. When we have convertible preference shares, preference dividend as well as DDT both we add. So now if I ask you, how will we find combined effective preference and debentures are there? How will we find the adjusted earnings? Then quite obvious the answer is add interest minus tax, add preference dividend, add DDT, right? Same way, how do you find the combined adjusted gains? Add convertible debentures converted into equity shares as well as add convertible preference shares converted into equity shares. Quite simple, correct? But that is wrong. Totally wrong. Keep one thing in mind. Institute of Chartered Accountants starts thinking where you stop thinking. Okay? Where your mind stops working, their mind starts working. So practically imagine preference shares and debentures won't be converted in future into equity shares at the same point of time. Or there are chances that preference gets converted first, then debentures get converted into equity shares. Or there are chances that debentures get converted first, then preference shares get converted into EPS. Or there are chances that both of them also may get converted into equity shares at the same time. Now, we have to calculate diluted EPS in such a manner that in any of the three situations, wrong information does not go to shareholders. So basically, whatever is the minimum EPS possible at any point of time, whether preference gets converted into equity or debentures get converted into equity, which one gets converted first, which one gets converted second, and which one, whether both of them get converted at the same time, whatever is the minimum EPS possible in any of the situations in future, that should be reported to shareholders. So we will be following three steps over here. Okay, all of you be careful. Steps we will be following over here. First step will be, write down step 1. We will find incremental EPS. Now, what is this incremental EPS? Understand it. Suppose we solve the previous question. You all can see that in question number 7, what we had solved, what was the existing profits? 96 lakhs. What was the adjusted earnings? 1 crore 3,87,500. So if I ask you what is the incremental earnings, can you say 7,87,500? In short, what are incremental earnings? Interest minus tax. Same way, if you see preference shares question, what was the existing profits? 19,80,000. Adjusted 22,50,000. So what was the incremental earning? 2,70,000, which was preference dividend, and DDT was not there in the question. Otherwise, it would have been preference dividend plus DDT. Same way, what were the incremental number of shares? 50 and 60 means 10 lakhs. Same way here, incremental number of shares 30 and 60 means 30,000. So whatever are the potential equity shares, they themselves are the incremental number of shares. So how do you find the incremental EPS? Incremental earnings divided by incremental number of shares. So you find incremental EPS due to preference shares and debentures separately. Okay, one by one you find incremental EPS due to preference shares and debentures separately. How would you find the incremental EPS? Write down incremental EPS is equal to incremental earnings divided by incremental number of shares. Okay, and the topic is quite simple. How would you find the incremental earnings due to preference shares, preference dividend plus DDT? How would you find the incremental earnings due to debentures, interest minus tax? And how would you find the incremental number of shares in both the cases potential equity shares? Now what you will do is step 2, you rank the securities. Securities means debentures and preference shares in the order of most dilutive. All of you are supposed to write these steps in your notebook, okay? In the order of most dilutive to least dilutive. You rank the securities in this order, in the order of most dilutive to least dilutive. Now how will you rank them in this order? Okay, so you remember reverse. Whosoever's incremental EPS is more incremental EPS. Okay, more incremental EPS means more incremental EPS is equal to less dilutive. Okay, more incremental EPS equals to less dilutive. And less incremental EPS is equal to more dilutive. So it's opposite. And that is quite obvious because more incremental EPS means in future the chances that the EPS will increase is more, so they are less dilutive. And less incremental EPS means in future the EPS goes down is more, so they are more dilutive. Now step 3, what we will do is first find EPS considering the effect of more dilutive security, means whose incremental EPS is less. Then again find EPS considering the cumulative effect. Cumulative means first one was already added. Now in that further, cumulative you all understand, right? Cumulative means first effect is already considered. Further in that you add the effect of cumulative effect of less dilutive security. Okay, cumulative means in the after adding the most dilutive securities results what you get, in that further you add the effect of less dilutive security. Now what you'll observe in this process is that the EPS will first go down and then it will go up. So the point from where EPS turns from low to high, you'll find that first EPS goes down and then again it rises. So the point from where the EPS turns from low to high will be reported as diluted EPS to shareholders. So you will be clear with the question once we solve it exactly what are these 3 steps. To understand these 3 steps, all of you look at question number 9. All of you take out your study material and look at question number 9. Be attentive. ABC Limited has 20 lakhs equity shares on 1/4/18. So these are the existing equity shares. Potential equity shares of ABC Limited are as under: 8% 8 lakh convertible preference shares of 100 each to be converted into 2 equity shares attributable to dividend distribution tax at 20.56%. So what will be the incremental earnings? 8 lakh debentures into 100 face value into 8% dividend. So 8 lakhs into 100, 8 crores. 8 crores, 8%, 64 lakhs, and on that 64 lakhs 20.56% will be the dividend distribution tax. Okay. Further, what will be the incremental number of shares? Potential equity shares itself. So 8 lakh shares will get converted into 2 equity shares, means 16 lakhs are incremental number of equity shares. Same with 12% convertible debentures. Here rupees is given, rupees 100 each. Nominal value again rupees is given, rupees 10 crores convertible into 4 equity shares. So 10 crores is directly rupees, means 10 crores 12%. Interest is 1 crore 20 lakhs. But in this case of 1 crore 20 lakhs, tax rate applicable 25%, we will minus to get incremental earnings. And 10 crores divided by 100, 10 lakh are the number of debentures. They will get converted into 4 equity shares. Okay, here you can write 10 crores divided by 100 means there are 10 lakh debentures. Now they will get converted into 4 equity shares, means 40 lakh equity shares will be potential equity shares. The net profit attributable to equity shareholders is 1 crore 50 lakhs. Now what are the steps we have to perform? See, what is the first step I made you write today? First, find incremental EPS due to preference shares and debentures separately. So first we find incremental EPS due to, let us say in this question, what do we have first? Preference shares. So first we find incremental EPS due to preference shares. First we take the effect of preference shares. Give the heading in your notebook, preference shares. Now incremental EPS means first we find incremental earnings. So for incremental earnings, what are the preference dividend amount? Incremental earnings will be preference dividend plus dividend distribution tax. So preference dividend is equal to 8 lakh preference shares into 100 rupees, so 8 crores into 8%, so 64 lakhs. Further, preference dividends, dividend distribution tax we will add. So DDT on that preference dividend would be 64 lakhs into 20.56%. Count it everyone. 64 lakhs into 20.56%. That comes to 13 lakh 15,840. Okay, 13 lakh 15,840. So if we add that, we will get 77 lakh 15,840. What is this? This is incremental earnings. And what did I tell you is incremental number of shares? Simply potential equity shares. So what are the incremental number of shares we are going to get? Incremental number of shares would be simply equal to, see, 8 lakh preference shares are getting converted into 2 equity shares. So 8 lakh preference shares getting converted into 2 equity shares means the potential equity shares would be 16 lakh shares. So that itself is incremental number of shares. And then you can therefore calculate the incremental EPS. Incremental EPS is equal to incremental earnings divided by incremental number of shares. So incremental earnings 77 lakh 15,840 divided by incremental number of shares 16 lakhs. Do it, 77 lakhs 15,840 divided by 16 lakhs. So 4.8224 means rupees 4.82 is incremental earnings. This is the incremental earnings rupees 4.82 due to preference shares. Okay. Now same thing we find due to debentures. Same effect we find due to debentures. So now all of you give the heading debentures. Like this preference shares we had given the heading. Now you give the heading as debentures. First we find incremental earnings due to debentures. So in that first we'll take interest on debentures. Now interest on debentures would be how much? 10 crores directly value is given. So 10 crores into 12%. 10 crores into 12%. That is 1 crore 20 lakhs. Okay. And then in that we will minus tax on interest. Okay, in that we will minus tax on interest. Tax is 25%. So 1 crore 20 lakhs into 25%. Okay, 1 crore 20 lakhs into 25%, that is 30 lakhs. If we minus that, 90 lakhs would be incremental earnings. Okay, 90 lakhs would be equal to incremental earnings. Now same way we will find incremental number of shares. So incremental number of shares is equal to as we discussed, there are 10 lakh debentures and they'll get converted into 4 equity shares. So 10 lakh debentures into 4 equity shares means the incremental number of shares will be 40 lakh equity shares. So now we can find the incremental EPS due to debentures. Therefore, incremental EPS is equal to incremental earnings divided by incremental number of shares. So incremental earnings are 90 lakhs due to debentures and incremental number of shares are 40 lakhs. So 90 lakhs divided by 40 lakhs, that is rupees 2.25. Okay. Now first step is done, find the incremental EPS. What is the second step I made you write? Rank the securities in order of most dilutive to least dilutive, and I told you it's a reverse here. More EPS is less dilutive, less EPS is more dilutive. See the answers. What did we get? See the answers, what did we get? 4.82 and 2.25. So opposite, 2.25 where we get less answer is more dilutive, and mark it with pencil, 4.82 where we get more EPS is less dilutive. So what did I make you write then? After that I made you write that you find EPS considering the effect of more dilutive security first, then take the effect of less dilutive security. So that we will do in this form of table. All of you make this table. Okay, all of you make this table. Particulars, profits, number of shares, EPS, and then remarks. Make this table. In this table we will work it out. Pause the video and make this table. Yes, I hope all of you have done the table. Now be attentive. First we will start with existing information. What are existing profits of the company? Existing profits are 1 crore 50 lakhs. At the end it is given. So look at existing profits 1 crore 50 lakhs. What are the existing number of shares? We have seen at the top of the question 20 lakhs. So look at on existing number of shares 20 lakhs. Now what is the EPS presently? 1 crore 50 lakhs divided by, okay, 1 crore 50 lakhs divided by 20 lakhs. So that would be equal to how much? 1 crore 50 lakhs divided by 20 lakhs. Existing EPS would be 7.5. Okay, rupees 7.5. All of you must mention rupees without fail. Rupees 7.5 is existing EPS. What is this existing EPS? Rupees 7.5 is basic EPS. Now what we do is we add, first we add the effect of more dilutive security, which is debentures. Okay, first we add the effect of more dilutive security, that is debentures. So we add the effect of debentures. What is the effect of debentures on profits? Incremental earnings is 90 lakhs. So in profits we add 90 lakhs. If you add 90 lakhs in profits, then 1 crore 50 lakhs plus 90 lakhs will become 2 crore 40 lakhs. Same way, incremental number of shares are 40 lakh shares. That we will add due to debentures. So if we add 40 lakh shares, then 20 lakhs plus 40 lakh shares will become 60 lakh shares. Now, 2 crore 40 lakh, okay. Now what will be the EPS after this? 2 crore 40 lakh is the profits and 60 lakhs are the number of shares. So what will be the EPS after this? After this the EPS will come to 2 crore 40 lakhs divided by 60 lakhs is rupees 4. Now because the EPS from 7.5 is going down to 4, okay, from 7.5 it is going down to 4. So can I say that debentures are diluted? Yes, because the EPS is going down. Now further you add the effect of preference shares. So if I add the effect of preference shares, what will you find over here? What is the incremental earnings due to preference shares? You can see 77 lakh 15,840. 77 lakh 15,840. Cumulative we have to add. Cumulative means considering the total amount. So 2 crore 40 lakh plus 7 lakh 15,840 will come to 3 crore 17 lakh 15,840. Same way, if you add the effect of preference shares on number of equity shares, what was the incremental number of equity shares? You all can see 16 lakhs. So if we add that 16 lakhs over here, then what would be the number of shares after the conversion? 76 lakhs. So now what would be your EPS? 3 crore 17 lakh 15,840 divided by 76 lakhs. That would be equal to rupees 3 crore 17 lakh 15,840 divided by 76 lakhs. Rupees 4.17. Now you'll find from 4 it is increasing to 4.17, means can I say preference shares are anti-dilutive? Now what did I discuss? That EPS will first go down from 7.5, it goes down to 4 and then it will go up. So the point from where it goes down to up, that is rupees 4. Okay, what did I make you write? That the point from where the EPS turns from low to high will be reported as diluted EPS to shareholders. So what is this exactly? In future, if debentures get converted into equity shares, first your EPS will be 4 rupees. If preference shares get converted first, then you count it. 1 crore 50 lakhs plus 77 lakh 15,840 would result into 2 crore 27 lakh. Listen carefully what I am explaining. 15,840 and then divided by number of shares would become 20 plus 16, 36 lakhs. In any of the situation, you'll find EPS will be 6.31, means more than 4 only. If preference shares get converted first, then it will become 6.3, and then after that obviously when debentures get converted, final will be 4.17 only. So what is this 4? 4 is the minimum EPS possible at any time in future, whether debentures get converted first or preference shares get converted first or both get converted at the same time. So what we will report to the shareholders is the EPS of 4 rupees. So you will say that it can be seen that EPS decreases from rupees 7.5 to rupees 4 and then increases to rupees 4.17. Okay. Therefore, the point from where EPS turns from low to high, that is rupees 4, will be reported as diluted EPS to shareholders. So this is the most important question from your exams point of view. Maximum times you'll find it is being repeated in your exams. Prepare it thoroughly well, rewind the video and understand the topic once again if there is any confusion. Okay. So with this the chapter gets over. Now in the next lecture we will start with the new chapter. Bye everyone. Take care. See you in the next lecture.